And here at the Tucker Center in Tallahassee, the Florida State Seminoles have returned home after opening ACC play on Saturday night against Notre Dame. A disappointing night for Monte Brandon and the Noles, and tonight they're back at it. While holiday break has started on many campuses around the country, it's tune-up time, particularly here in the ACC. And tonight, Florida State at 4-5 returns home to the Tucker Center to meet the Ospreys of the University of North Florida. And great to have you with us with Dan Bonner, Western. Welcome to ACC basketball. Tough Saturday night for Florida State, losing at Notre Dame, Dan. But the Noles took a bigger blow when Aaron Thomas was ruled ineligible for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, it's been an interesting preseason for Florida State. They've had injuries, obviously that suspension, but this is an opportunity for them to start putting the pieces together. They've got an interesting stretch of games against Florida teams. It'll be a way for them to get rolling.
Noles will try and win the Florida State championship, if you will. They've already beaten UCF, and tonight they tangle with the Ospreys of North Florida. But in Thomas's absence, who do we look to if you're Leonard Hamilton?
Well, I think you got to look at your veteran guys, and one of their top players is Monte Brandon. Brandon has been a guy the last couple of years. He's really good defensively. He can get to the basket. His numbers are improving, and he's a guy who simply has to step up his game. He's got to score more. He's got to rebound more. He's got to do a better job at leadership, and that's why he's our Hardy star to watch. Look at his improvement freshman year, sophomore year to this year. I think he's got to continue to build on those numbers.
We're going to keep an eye on Monte Brandon tonight. And for Matthew Driscoll in North Florida, we're going to keep an eye on an outstanding guard.
Wow, Dallas Moore is really an outstanding point guard, Wes. He's the guy that makes everything go for a team. Keep in mind, they went on the road to Purdue and they won. They went on the road to Northwestern and lost by 2 on a last-second shot. And his numbers, obviously very impressive. He's the key to this ball club.
Third meeting all time between North Florida and Florida State. Lineups and first half play-by-play coming up next.
College basketball on MSG is presented by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online.
ACC basketball is sponsored by Toyota and Synovus, the bank of here.
And crowd filing into the Tucker Center as we start the holidays on many of these campuses around the country. And we get Florida State and North Florida tonight here in the ACC. And the Ospreys are here at 6-4 behind the former Clemson assistant Matthew Driscoll, who in 6 years has won 79 ball games over in the Jacksonville area. North Florida, of course, in the Atlantic Sun. And his team here after a disappointing 2-point loss on Monday night at home against Tennessee Tech. And Florida State wins the tap. And Xavier Rattan-Mays, the freshman from Ontario, handles it on the first possession. And here is Brandon sliding to the basket. Florida State up 2-0.
That's the guy we talked about before the game, Monte Brandon, but that play was created entirely by Rattan-Mays. I think North Florida can be attacked off the dribble, and Florida State clearly thinks the same thing.
Backdoor look, and inside, Banks. Melo Banks had it blocked and last touched by North Florida.
Wes, I'm telling you, with the size that Florida State brings to bear, Leonard Hamilton looking like a bear right there. He's the most unhappy-looking coach that you've ever seen. He's taking off his tie.
There's the trademark unbuttoning the top button and loosening the tie.
Yeah, but if you're Romello Banks, you can't fumble the ball around inside because those big guys are coming, and they're coming fast.
Michael Ojo drawing the start here tonight. Bill Koper handling the ball, wearing 0. His first start as a Seminole, the freshman from Fayetteville, Georgia. Rattan-Mays tried to skip it to Ojo, couldn't handle it. Here is Moore leading the break for the Ospreys. And blocked out by Ojo on the shot by Davenport. And here's North Florida sticking with it. The pull-up 3, no good, and Koper finally battling, and Ojo clears it. Well, we're going back and forth here quick, Dan. Booker, a triple. And the rebound to Davenport.
Well, Florida State has a tough time shooting the ball, and generally the way you help solve that problem is to get easy baskets in transition. So I think it would behoove them to get up and down. And North Florida certainly doesn't mind it.
Backdoor cut and more the easy bucket.
That is a very good pass, and Moore is just such a solid player. He's a point guard who obviously is their leading scorer, but does a great job moving without the ball. Is a really, really good passer. He is a high-quality basketball player.
Booker for Ojo. Rattan Mays, backdoor cut, Ojo, and a foul called against the Ospreys.
That's a very interesting sequence right there, Wes. Romello Banks, number 33 in blue, he's playing way off Michael Ojo when Ojo's out at the top of the key. But once Ojo starts going to the basket, that man is 7 feet tall and weighs almost 300 pounds. You can't ignore him. There's the backdoor play. Very nicely done.
Foul is on Jalen Nesbitt, a senior from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Ojo inside, and Beach had a shot at the rebound. Finally, it's Chris Davenport, a 6'8" sophomore from Atlanta. And he tried to lead Romello Banks.
And Romello Banks sort of got held by Michael Ojo. The officials didn't see that one.
Or Matthew Driscoll.
He wants pass interference, or at least
illegal contact.
Illegal contact, yeah.
Because it was clearly beyond 5 yards.
Absolutely.
I knew I could get you back to football pretty quick. 2 minutes in, and just a basket for either school. And into the backcourt, scooped up, and Davenport fouled by Rattan Mays.
Rattan Mays is a very talented freshman player, but that was a serious mistake right there. He sort of goes into soccer player mode here. The ball is tipped away, and I look, and then the balls keep rolling on the floor. You got to go get that ball, son.
So Xavier Rattan Mays, the freshman from Scarborough, Ontario, commits the foul, the first on Florida State. And here is the sophomore standing 6'8" and Chris Davenport, preseason All-A-Sun from Atlanta, who had 14 points, 17 rebounds, Dan, in their Monday night loss to Tennessee Tech. A foul called on Phil Kofer.
One of the problems in North
Nesbitt, beg your pardon, 0 for the Blue. That's
right.
Jalen Nesbitt.
One of the problems that North Florida had against Tennessee Tech is they shot free throws very poorly. And if you're going to come into Tallahassee and beat a team from the ACC, North Florida's going to have to make free throws. Can't pass up opportunity.
Nesbitt out of the ballgame with the 2 fouls. Trent Mackey's on the floor for North Florida. Tell you what, Matthew Driscoll's team into the passing lanes early against Florida State.
Each team has been very aggressive on the defensive end.
There's Booker. Nice look for Ojo. And blocked from behind by Banks. Here is Bo Beach, 6'8" junior from Ponte Vedra Beach, who had it taken away by Booker. Save to Ojo. Here's Brandon on the skip ahead. Rattan Mays having to sort it out.
Nice pass.
Yep. Brandon, the basket and the foul. How about the look by the big fella, Dan?
Well, not really nice job by Ojo. He gets the ball at the top of the key and finds his teammate in the corner. That was the one open man. And I'm telling you, if you can get Monte Brandon the ball while he's moving to the basket, he is very difficult to stop.
Well, that'll take us to our 4 keys to success here tonight in Tallahassee with Brandon to the line.
Well, for North Florida, they've got to shoot the 3 pretty well. They do it on the season. About almost 40% of their field goal attempts are from beyond the 3-point arc. They've got to make some. They've got to stay out of foul trouble. Florida State's got to attack the weak spots, drive the ball to the basket, and then they've got to make high percentage plays.
Here is Trent Mackey, a transfer from Louisiana Monroe, junior from Tampa, Florida. And Bojanowski's come onto the floor for Florida State to replace Ojo, and the Hill ball will stay at the North Florida end of the floor.
We have seen Monte Brandon with his offensive work. That time we saw his defensive work. Romello Banks, not really very athletic down inside trying to handle the ball. And Brandon, as soon as the big guy put it down, he went and knocked it away.
And we got a brief discussion with Ron Taberski and Louis Andrikakis.
And now Les Jones is going to join them.
Yeah, this might be about the hell ball in the possession.
Well, the question is, yes, did they lose possession?
Right.
And should the shot clock have reset? That's the difference here. Here's Banks trying to dribble it. The ball is knocked away. Does Florida State ever get possession? And that's what they're talking about. If that's a held ball and the ball goes back to North Florida, then they shouldn't have a reset on the shot clock if Florida State never gained possession of the ball.
You look at Romello Banks,
and that's exactly what they're going over to
Kissimmee.
look. They have decided that Florida State never gained possession, so therefore the shot clock should not have reset, so they're going to have to figure out how much time is left on the shot clock.
And meanwhile, you can see North Florida moving behind the officials, and Matthew Driscoll to talk with his team, and Leonard Hamilton will also stride out a step or two to talk with the Seminoles.
It's been a very interesting preseason for Florida State. Obviously, when you lose your key guy, as they have in Aaron Thomas, who has been suspended for the season by the school, you do all your planning all summer long based around that guy. It's not like you roll the balls out there on the 15th of October and that's the first time you start thinking about this. All the summer preparations involved Aaron Thomas, and now he's gone.
Beach.
So you're allowed to throw the ball in the backcourt. He didn't have to be careful about that. And they put 20 seconds on the shot clock, now down to 13.
And here is Bo Beach.
Beach is a shooter now.
Dallas Moore with 3 to shoot against Brandon. Beach, and I mean from way out, it hit the front iron. And slapped out. Nice play inside Davenport for the dunk foul. Mojanowski. Romello Banks with a very heady play off the missed shot.
This is a scramble situation, Wes. Everybody knows that the clock's running down. Brandon goes for the block shot. And this is just a great job. Davenport keeps it alive, but as you say, Banks knows that he can't get the rebound, so he just tips the ball out, and his teammates come up with the loose ball. Very nice play.
Davenport 1 of 2 for his only point so far tonight.
And Wes, one thing we might add that for the Ospreys, one of the reasons that they've got to stay out of foul trouble is they're missing one of their key guys. DeMarcus Daniels, their 6th man, probably is not going to play tonight. He is 6'7". Very valuable player for them inside, and so Banks and Davenport are going to have to go play a lot of minutes tonight.
Yeah, there is nobody else on the bench taller than 6'5". For North Florida to choose from. Deep 3, Rattan made, and beats the rebound. 5-all ball game. And Moore scoops up the deflection.
That is a really nice play by Beach, but then Banks throws it away.
Brandon off the turnover. Booker, the 3 over Beach is good for Devin Booker. Played 37 minutes after missing the previous 5 games with an injury, Dan. 37 minutes the other night in his first game back in the loss at Notre Dame for Devin Booker.
I think that goes to show you how desperate Florida State is to try to get some combinations out there, because Brandon is a guy who can shoot the 3.
Runner by Moore, no good. Another chance for the Ospreys, and Beach is fouled.
Isn't it amazing? North Florida gets the ball inside, and anytime you turn around and go to the basket, there's a 7-foot guy standing there. But Beach draws the foul.
Foul is whistled on Jarquez Smith. That'll get us to timeout. Almost 5 minutes gone in this first half. Florida State on the Devin Booker 3 has a 3-point lead.
ACC basketball is sponsored by the official corporate champions of the ACC, AT&T, Geico, Ruby Tuesday, and New York Life Insurance Company.
Florida State a 3-point lead. We welcome you back to the Tucker Center tonight with Dan Bonner, Wes Durham, and our outstanding ACC basketball crew here tonight in Tallahassee. And so far, we've seen hotly contested basketball at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I think the dominant thing in the game to me so far has been Florida State's defense. They've been very aggressive. It has been really difficult for North Florida to even pass the ball from one place to the other. The Ospreys only 1 for 6 shooting the ball. And we talked to Matt Driscoll earlier today, and he said, no, his team wasn't really bothered by the length. They play people who are long and quick, but I think this Florida State team is just a different breed of cat.
6'8" junior Bo Beach is a 67% free throw shooter, just his 5th miss of the year in 13 tries. Played for his dad as an all-state high school player, and then a year ago averaged 11.5 points, and that's the reason he's a preseason All-A-Sun selection as well. Hit the back end of the 2-shot chance for his first point. Florida State a 2-point edge in the basketball. A little backcourt pressure. Bodiger is on the floor wearing number 12 now for North Florida. He's a 6'5" redshirt sophomore.
Bodiger is a 3-point specialist.
Zone and deployed here by Matthew Driscoll's team.
As it started out as a 2-3, and there's Bodiger. See, and what Matt Driscoll is telling Bodiger right now is, hey, this guy's not a three-point shooter. He is going to try to drive the ball. There's no reason to go over there and jump up like he's going to shoot the ball. See, you may go over and jump up with a guy who is a shooter, but Monte Brandon's not going to shoot it from out there.
So Aaron Bodiger, the foul. And scoreless in his last 3 ball games is Bodiger. They could use a little offensive punch tonight, perhaps, against Florida State's rugged half-court sets defensively. Jarquez Smith. Here's Kyle Turpin. Started out tonight on the bench for Coach Hamilton, and the pass got deflected away. Intended for Brandon, and here's Mackey into the front court. Bodiger, a 3. No good. Rebound to Turpin. Bodiger now just 6 of 29 from behind the line. Really struggling to find the groove from the perimeter. Booker tried to fish it off inside, and it got deflected. Nope, did not, says Les Jones.
But you're right about Bodiger. That was his 29th three-point attempt. He's only made 6. But he's only taken 2 two-point shots.
Yeah.
So 29 of his 31 field goal attempts have been from 3.
Substitutions for Florida State is Phil Kofer, who started the ball game, has come back on. Here's Moore. Bodiger on the drive. We got a loose water bottle from the Florida State bench, and Ron Taberski will
I don't know that I've ever seen that.
stop play.
That water bottle, what, did it have a mind of its own? Did it jump out there?
Apparently so. There's the culprit.
Somebody's foot, and that's a huge foot, so I suspect that was Ojo.
Might have been Ojo's foot, which is size 29E. Got that knocked away.
And there's Monte Brandon again. I'm telling you, this Florida State team, particularly Brandon, is so quick. You cannot throw the ball up in the air and have it float for that long.
Yeah. Stan Mays picking up Dallas Moore. Look at the movement Hamilton's team's employed. Beach skips in the corner to Mackey.
That was the right idea, just a bad pass.
Shot clock at 5, and turnover on Trent Mackey. He carried it.
Really, the Florida State pressure on the ball has been very good. You just can't be fiddling around with the basketball. If you're North Florida, you got to move it. So here's that zone again.
Turpin, jump hook right hand, rolled in for it.
Much better maneuver that time by Turpin. Rather than try to play around with the ball, you get it inside, you're that close to the basket, you're 7 feet tall, shoot the thing.
Deep 3 from Beach.
And those are the shots that the Ospreys are going to have to make if they're going to win the game.
And Mays quickly front court. Brandon changing gears. Can't score it, but did get to the rim for the foul.
Wes, and this is part of the conundrum for North Florida. They're very small, so they're playing the zone. But in that zone, if Turpin catches the ball that close to the basket and the defense doesn't collapse, then it's really a problem for North Florida because they simply don't have the size.
That is second on Bodiger, by the way, Dan. 5 now on UNF. Brandon, the free throw, he's got 6 here in the first half.
And every one of Brandon's baskets has been going to the goal. And it's hard to keep him from doing that in transition, and he's been able to get out in transition very effectively so far tonight.
Good by Brandon. And that will...
See, and here's Banks coming back in and Davenport going out. Normally, Davenport or Banks would play in the game with Daniels. But Daniels, the 6'7", 195-pound sixth man, is not able to go because of an ankle injury, so they're having to play Beach on the inside. And Beach, even though he's 6'8", he's not an inside player.
Left-hand runner by Moore, good. Second field goal for Dallas Moore, the sophomore from St. Petersburg.
I'm telling you, he's got every single shot at his arsenal. That floater, he does that as well as anybody you'll see.
Turpin, another right-hand jump hook, good.
That's all he's got to do. They're not going to block him.
Here is Moore trying to go the other way. Nice feed, and we get a whistle and a foul here. And Ron Taberski is going to whistle it on Kyle Turpin. Or no, Devin Booker, I beg your pardon. His first, 4 now.
Turpin was trying to draw the charge against Moore, but Moore dumped the ball off to Banks. And for about the third time tonight, Banks did not catch it cleanly. I think he's in too big a hurry. He knows he's got to catch it and get it up there.
Melo Banks is just 12 of 26 at the line. Look, pretty good form right there, Dan.
This is what we're talking about. Turpin trying to get in position. Banks fumbles it a little bit, but he's able to draw the foul and convert the 2.
Yep.
I don't think 7-foot guys should try to take charge. I want to be a rule that says they have to block stuff.
I think it's more of a policy than a rule right now. 4-point lead for Florida State. Turpin, a left-hand jump hook, and it's good.
He's getting the ball down deep. They're not able to do anything about it.
6-point lead on 3 jump hooks by Kyle Turpin. 2 right hand, 1 left hand. What a scoop, and Moore couldn't score it. Heck of an individual effort to get to the rim. Booker leads the charge. Brandon fouled by Beach going to the rack.
Brandon might shoot 30 free throws tonight.
First on Beach, 6th on the Ospreys. Now, what have you told me? Big guys should be down. Perimeter guys should be out, right?
Absolutely.
Big guys don't need to stand out and shoot threes.
They do not.
They need to be down on
Unless
the
you're
floor.
Frank Kaminsky from Wisconsin. And that's okay.
Florida State's hit their last 4 shots from the floor. Monte Brandon knocks down another free throw. He's hit 4 in a row at the line and has 8 here in this first half. The Noles are 6 of 10 from the floor, and this is a team that the other night shot 40% in the loss at Notre Dame.
But they're getting, remember we said they had to make percentage plays. They're getting high percentage shots by attacking the basket.
Lead is 8. Brandon has 9 of the 18 for Florida State. Off to a fine start. We get our first look at the freshman from Atascadero, California. That's Robbie Berwick wearing 24 for Florida State on the floor.
The defense for Florida State has been the key so far.
Working against Devin Booker. Marquez Smith trying to help with the double team. Skip it across. Jalen Nesbitt back on the floor playing with the 2 fouls against Rattan Mays. Skip in the corner for Beach. Rattan Mays the lead.
Beach has had a couple wide open looks. He's a 38% shooter, has missed the boat.
Here's a look ahead, and Moore will lay it in. 6 for Dallas. Moore on his 3rd field goal. Matthew Driscoll's got a very nice team, always looking for an advantage in transition.
They switch back to a man-to-man now.
Marquez Smith against Beach. Here's Turpin stepping out.
Right, now that's the jump shot, not the hook shot.
Nesbitt the rebound. Here's Moore.
Boy, Moore really knows how to attack. He's very, very good at knowing when to step on the gas and when to slow it down.
Wow, spins out of a double team. Mackey a 3. And it's good.
And Mackey's another one of those guys. He's a 3-point specialist.
5 in a row by North Florida has pulled them to within 3.
Mackey has now attempted 46 field goals on the year, 45 of them from beyond the arc. He has yet to make a 2-point basket.
Turpin a skip. Now Berwick a 3. Can't answer. Deflected out. Rattan Mays right back to the rim and a foul.
And let's see who they got.
And it is on Trent Mackey. It'll be his 2nd. That is 7 on the Ospreys. We've worked almost to the midway point of half. The State and Big Kyle Turpin's had a lot to do with the Noles' inside presence here early, Dan.
Well, he's already got 6 points, which is more than his average on the season. And what I want you to look at is right here. Look at all this space between the guards for the defense and the inside players. And Florida State moves the ball against that. Now, as Turpin catches the ball, you notice that the guards are still out here. These guys are not going to shoot threes. You got to get in here and help. They didn't. And as a result, Turpin is able to score. That was his 3rd of 3 baskets, almost exactly the same place. And as we said, Turpin, who averages 5.3 points per game, already had 6. There are those numbers.
Kyle, of course, 6th-year player from Normal, Illinois. 25 years of age now, as injuries have derailed most of his college career. You get a look at Xavier Rattan-Mays knocking down the free throw for his first point. The second one is good as well.
And Florida State's defensive effort so far, Wes, has been a little bit hampered by the fact that on offense they've turned it over 6 times, and that's given North Florida the opportunity to get some easier looks at the basket, and that's why they've gotten themselves back in the game.
First free throws for the Seminoles, other than Monte Brandon, belong to Rattan-Mays. And we get our first look at the junior college sophomore, Deshaun Watkins, who's on the floor for the first time here tonight for Florida State. He'll guard Dallas Moore out front.
It's on Watkins.
Well,
and I think that foul is okay. I think Leonard Hamilton wants his guys to keep the pressure on Dallas Moore to try to wear him down with superior numbers. And so if you get a foul against him, it's no big deal. Watkins is not going to be one of their key guys anyway. He's out there to play defense, and that's what he's doing.
Here is Nesbitt. Nesbitt started off with a couple of quick fouls.
And that's really a problem because Nesbitt is one of their best guys.
Lefty three from Dallas Moore is good.
How about that? We've seen him get all the way to the basket and score. We've seen him shoot that floater, and now he shoots the 3.
Booker inside. Ojo lost it, and it will belong to the Ospreys.
They're waiting for Ojo to really come into his own, but he continues to have some problems that you would expect a guy to have who hadn't played a lot of basketball.
Great analogy I heard today. It's not an on-off switch for Michael Ojo. It's one with a dimmer. And the dimmer is starting to slowly brighten. It's not as drastic as on or off. It's now the consistency piece, Dan. And, you know, boy, that's sometimes often the most difficult hurdle. With the development of particularly big guys, right?
Well, absolutely. And he's got to do the little things first. He's got to catch the ball inside, for one thing.
Here's Nesbitt, and lost it, saved it. Mackey, another 3. And saved out Nesbitt. Here's Moore, he lost it.
Nice job by Booker. Just tip that away.
9 minutes to go. Booker to 3. Ojo! 11th field goal of the year, and an emphatic one for junior Michael Ojo. Lead back to 4.
Not going to throw it over top of Ojo very often successful.
Here is Watkins. Trying to get it to Booker, almost stolen by Nesbitt.
And Nesbitt's got to be careful. He's got those 2 fouls. So they start without Daniels, their 6th man, and Nesbitt, one of their best players, immediately has 2 fouls, and there's a palming violation with Watkins.
Yep, that'll allow North Florida to make a substitution. Matthew Driscoll trying to get some reinforcements on the floor.
Ojo has eye-popping skills when he can bring them to bear, and that time nobody blocks him out. 2 guys go for the block shot out on the 3-point line. You simply can't do that. That leaves Michael Ojo roaming free. And when a guy that size roams free, generally you're in trouble if you're North Florida.
North Florida's only got 4 points off the Florida State turnover. Seminoles has 8 of them already in this first half. Devin Wilson, a senior from Gainesville, Florida, transfer from Pensacola State College, is on the floor, and Davenport draws the foul. And it's on Michael Ojo.
One of the things we've seen from North Florida, they have done a nice job dealing with the pressure that Florida State has exerted on the ball and moving the ball from side to side. You get it going from side to side, and then you attack off the dribble. Generally, you can have some success.
Free throw by Davenport. Gives him 4.
Leonard Hamilton carries that look of perpetual worry over there, even when he's very, very happy. But you know that he's very concerned about this game because this is a North Florida squad that can play. They are a very, very good team, even though a little short-handed tonight.
Just ask Matt Painter at Purdue, right?
Absolutely.
Ospreys scored a victory there about 10 days ago. Ojo, big step to the basket, and we're going to foul.
That's on Davenport.
And Davenport's first.
He was trying to draw a charge against Ojo. Again, they list Ojo at 7'1", 292 pounds. I'm not sure that I would try to draw a charge against him.
Yeah, that might be a little much to bargain for, huh?
Now, Ojo, of course, not a very good free throw shooter.
6 of 19 on the year, Dan. 20. Missed the front end there. Layup at the other end, blocked by Ojo, who ran end to end there. Back goes Wilson. Beach alone for 3. Too strong. And Wilson hustling, can't come up with it.
Beach is going a little too fast. Again, he had a wide open shot, but he hurried that one a little bit. Interesting game.
10-4 run by the
Dallas Moore, and he has not disappointed. We said he can score going to the basket. He had that really nice little floater in the lane, and then he's knocked down a three-point shot, so he can score from every area on the floor. But in addition, he's the primary ball handler for this team against intense pressure. He's only turned it over 1 time so far. They're giving him a little rest right at the moment, and he's going to need it.
Yep, Devin Wilson going to get some important minutes here for Coach Driscoll's club.
And Wilson is not going to be expected to do the things offensively that Moore does, but he is going to be expected to play pretty good defense and protect the basketball. Give Moore a few minutes to catch his breath over there on the bench.
Irwin with hand made. That'll be a foul on Wilson. His first. 9 on North Florida.
North Florida started in a zone defense, figuring that Florida State didn't shoot the ball very well, but Florida State really attacked the zone, driving it to the basket. And so Matt Driscoll went back to what they do best, and that is pretty tough man-to-man defense. And again, I don't think he can be that upset with that foul on Wilson. He's trying to keep pressure on the freshman.
Tan Mays, 9 points, 3 assists the other night in his first ever ACC game at Notre Dame.
You see Mays, his numbers on the season, he comes in from high school with a reputation as a big-time scorer. And certainly without Aaron Thomas, Florida State would like to see that scoring ability jump up a little bit.
Playing high school ball at Huntington Prep with Andrew Wiggins, and you're a big-time scorer. You must be a big-time scorer, right? Because I know that guy could score. Turned over, and here's Brandon with Berwick. And Monte Brandon in the open floor. That's 11 for Brandon in North Florida timeout.
And that's how Brandon has done it. He's done it defensively. That was just a very bad decision by Jalen Nesbitt. He threw the ball right to him. But the impressive thing about, watch this by Monte Brandon. There's number 4, Wilson. He's trying to get in position, and Brandon just fakes him out, drives him away. You know, that sort of little Euro step kind of thing, and he's got Wilson backpedaling on his heels.
Dan, we talk about Aaron Thomas being ruled ineligible by the university here on Friday, right before they were getting ready to depart for South Bend. He was averaging almost 15 points a game, but he was also one of the better defenders on the perimeter for Leonard Hamilton. He was a guy who was the lockdown guy at times.
Well, that's true, but he was the centerpiece of everything they did on offense. And when you lose the centerpiece of everything you do on offense, yes, you can put the pieces together, but they got to go together in a different way, and Florida State's still working that out. And as I said, I think Monte Brandon is going to be a key for that.
Certainly critical, even after the loss the other night in South Bend, for these guys to get worked out before the next 17 ACC games take place, starting just after the turn of the year. Out of the timeout, a 6-point lead for Florida State. Let's see what Driscoll's team has come up with. Here's Davenport. And he'll draw a foul off the baseline, and it's on Bojanovsky.
Really impressed with the fact that North Florida does not seem to be intimidated by the Florida State size. They keep taking it in there on the attack. We talked about how the three-point basket was going to be such a key for North Florida. It's beginning to look like the free throw is going to be every bit as important.
Absolutely. 8 of their first 10, and Davenport misses there. This is a team that has won at Purdue, played Northwestern very close.
Well, they had a lead at Northwestern going down the stretch and lost it, and lost on a last-second shot.
Matthew Driscoll told us today they likely would not be fazed by the environment of playing an ACC team, having been to Purdue and been to Northwestern and played on that stage the last couple of years.
He actually told us the best atmosphere they faced all year, though, was when they played at Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
As the place was full and rocking.
5-point lead for Florida State.
Oh, boy.
Xavier Rattan Mays, a little rookie mistake there, huh?
Well, he hooked him.
second on Rattan Mays. 8th on Florida
and
State.
unfortunately for Rattan Mays, he gets this hook around right there. The referee's looking right at that. That's right in front of God and everybody. If you're going to do that, it's got to be down inside where it's a little bit more hidden.
So Watkins comes back on the team. He'll play Dallas Moore defensively. Really impressed by Moore here in the first 13 and a half minutes, Dan.
Florida State's trying really hard to keep Moore from going left, and they just can't do it.
Devin Wilson with the shot clock at 14. Tried to skip it to Beach and deflect it over the inline. It'll stay with the Ospreys.
That's one of those things, you know, there was guys in between he and Beach, and you got the impression that Wilson thought if he just throw it hard enough, he could get it through there.
12 to shoot. Standing three again. And long rebound, here's Booker.
Three's a little bit tougher with a 7-footer running at it.
And Wilson slapped it away. Last touch, Booker. It will stay with, or go to North Florida. Phil Kofer will check into the ball game for Leonard Hamilton, whose team leads by 5, despite the fact they're holding the visitors to under 28% from the floor.
Well, the visitors have been pretty good defensively as well. They have done a nice job forcing Florida State turnovers.
These two teams are combined 3 of 15 from behind the arc here in this first half. Strong move, Davenport in the basket. His first field goal, Dan.
Oh boy, he's just not afraid. He has shown us that over and over.
Kofer.
I'm not sure that Turpin is sufficiently athletic to guard Davenport out in the perimeter.
Knocked away Davenport. Loop ahead. Here is Moore, and he'll score. 11 first-half points for sophomore Dallas Moore, and a Leonard Hamilton timeout as North Florida's pulled to within 1.
Once again, the defense by North Florida is the key right there. We've been talking about Davenport and his athleticism going up against the bigger guy. And what he does is he comes around. He's playing behind as the ball's in the air. He comes around from behind and knocks the ball away from Turpin. And then Dallas Moore, recognizing what's going on, he breaks out and has the easy opportunity. But the key is the defensive play. The ball is in the air. Davenport goes and gets it. That's a strategy that they employed very effectively against the two huge guys for Purdue, A.J. Hammonds and Isaac Haas.
Well, a year ago, Matthew Driscoll's team was an even 500. And you see 10-8 in the A-Sun, and what a league that's going to turn out to be potentially this year, Dan. And then Moore, Beach, and Davenport all in their preseason selections. And this thought of as one of the top teams in the league.
There's no question. But again, you say that is a very good league. And North Florida, obviously a relatively new school.
Sure.
They're really new in terms of Division I. Matthew Driscoll's done a great job gradually building up that program. But Florida Gulf Coast is in the A-Sun. USC Upstate, another one of the top teams in the A-Sun. Lipscomb has had plenty of preseason in the A-Sun. Yep. It's a one-bid league, but it is an extremely competitive one-bid league when you're talking about the NCAA tournament.
No question about that. Out of the Hamilton timeout, Florida State has had 3 turnovers here in the last minute and a half. It's led to 5 unanswered points by the Ospreys to have pulled to within 1.
Moore did a great job cutting off the baseline.
Brandon with 7 to shoot. In traffic, score. Big buckets all throughout this first 20 minutes for Monte Brandon.
And every one of them attacking the basket, and just about every one of them scoring in traffic. He doesn't mind it when guys are draped all over him.
13 first-half points for Brandon. He's the game's leading scorer. Davenport, a little step back over Turpin. Front rim miss, and here's Brandon.
I think you take that shot every time down if you can get it.
Off for Kofer. Right-hand move is good for Bill Kofer's first basket.
I think Matt Driscoll's really upset with his guys because nobody went to double team against Kofer. Kofer actually does a great job here keeping his balance. This is in transition. It's not the greatest of passes, but watch how he keeps his balance, maintains his pivot foot. No help comes, and so he is able to get that hook shot. And Florida State has had very good success when they can get the ball down there that close to the basket.
Back to a 5-point advantage for Leonard Hamilton's team. Florida State level par a year ago in the ACC at 9-9. They did win 22 games and went to the NIT, but this is the team now that Dan, quite frankly, some of the household brands at the top of the ACC. Florida State's one of those teams that wants to be in that next little group of teams mentioned.
Well, that Florida State, you look at their record in the Atlantic Coast Conference over the last few years, they are right there. They're right there with Duke and North Carolina in terms of how many games they've won in conference play. So this is a program that Leonard Hamilton has built to the point where they're disappointed when they go to the NIT. That's not the goal.
Yep. Here's Moore and North Florida out of the timeout. 5-point game. End-to-end in this first half. Very defensive-driven, though, first 20 minutes of play we're seeing here in Tallahassee.
Defensive intensity.
Beach, baseline. Layup wouldn't go down. Cope with the rebound. Everything's contested tonight. Watkins, spot-up jump shot. And Kofer fights inside. Third chance. Rimmed out. Brandon had it taken away by Wilson.
How did he get that?
Wilson, Mackey, Davenport, and Wilson a three. Too strong. And they battle inside. Beach had it. And a whistle and foul.
Wow.
We get a break in the action in Tallahassee. Fighting staff, Dano.
Well, what we talked about, at least in terms of the star players, Dallas Moore, Monte Brandon, both playing very well. Florida State with a big advantage on the inside. You can see that with their points inside, their field goal shooting percentage, and the rebounds. North Florida, we said they might have a tough time with foul trouble, and they've got some key guys. Nesbitt has 2 fouls. Beach has 2 fouls.
Right.
This guy, though, he doesn't have any fouls, and he's got 11 points. The problem for him is he's only got 1 assist at this point. Florida State doing a great job cutting off his passing lane.
Second foul on both Beach was the 10th on UNF, so Deshaun Watkins will get 2 shots. The first one, his 12th free throw of the year, and you see the details on the sophomore from North Little Rock.
And this is a guy, Watkins, I think they're going to look for him to make a bigger contribution with Aaron Thomas no longer available. So an opportunity for the young man.
And last touch, Les Jones says, by Trent Mackey, so it will belong to Florida State on the turnover.
And this is a very dangerous time in the game suddenly for North Florida. They have hung in the game, but now a foul, a turnover, and Florida State with the opportunity to blow things open here.
Have kind of found the groove on the glass, too.
And the foul trouble has caused North Florida to go back to the zone.
Kofer to Brandon, tried to feed it to Turpin, turned it over. Here's Davenport. All the way down, layup short, and a foul, Ron Tyberski.
Now, Florida State bailed him out that time, Wes, because Davenport made a mistake. That ball's got to go to his point guard, Dallas Moore. The ball comes out, and right away, now you give it to Moore immediately. He's looking around. Moore is over on his left, never passes him the ball. He's very fortunate to get the foul call.
10 fouls now on the Seminoles here at the 2:57 mark, and so Davenport will go to the line for his 9th and 10th attempts of this first half. 6 out of 9 is the sophomore from Atlanta. Second one good.
That's amazing. 10 free throw attempts. Still got 3 minutes left to go in the first half. Back into the zone.
He's attempted 10 of their 14 as a team. Turpin, oh, the right-hand jump hook. The jump hook period's been good to Kyle Turpin. 8 first half points.
That one was a little bit further out. That was about 9 or 10 feet as opposed to the 4 or 5 from before. But again, no defensive help coming.
8-point lead for Florida State. Nesbitt. 15 to shoot. Davenport. Thought about taking it by Turpin. Now pass. Moore. Runner fell off the iron to Turpin. Here's Watkins.
Again, Moore was forced to shoot that shot with a lot more height on it than I thought he was interested in. Oh my, look at the white shirts at the basket.
Koper. And can't get the basket, but does draw the foul.
Florida State is doing a great job rebounding the ball and getting out and getting down the court quickly. really putting the pressure on North Florida. Leonard Hamilton has to be happy with that. That's why they had such a great offensive rebounding opportunity. They beat the Ospreys down the court.
Phil Kofer out of Whitewater High School south of Atlanta was originally ticketed to go to Tennessee and play for Conzo Martin. When he left to become Cal's coach, he was released from his letter of intent. And boy, Leonard Hamilton was happy to get this youngster, wasn't he?
He's a good pickup. I am impressed with his physical skills. As many freshmen, it looks like he's got to adjust to the speed of the college game. And in the college game, there's an awful lot more you do with scouting reports and individual kind of work. And he's got to adjust to that, but he looks like he's got some skills.
He's got some athleticism in his family. His dad, Michael, played football in Tennessee and was a 10-year veteran in the NFL. Second free throw. He has 3 in the opening frame. Florida State's lead is 9. Largest of the ball game for the Seminoles. Foul call there on Brandon. First on the junior from Greensboro.
That's going to send Moore to the line. But again, I don't think that's a bad foul. I think you need to keep the pressure on. Brandon very nearly came up with a steal right there. Really impressed with the Seminoles getting after it on defense. Not that North Florida hasn't done that as well. But this is what Florida State needs to do as they try to put the pieces to this puzzle together, as they try to adjust to life without their leading scorer. They're going to have to change the way they do things, and one of the things they're going to have to do is ratchet up the pressure on the defensive end, and so far tonight they have done exactly that.
Moore hit 1 of the 2. He's got a dozen here in the first half. He and Gavin scored 21 of their 27 here, Dan. Kofer, baseline jumper, good, and a foul.
And that's on Nesbitt, I think. Yep, that's 3.
Third on Jalen Nesbitt with 1:40 to play. And Phil Kofer's got a pair of field goals and a chance for the 3-point play.
And Nesbitt, he is a second-year senior, junior college guy, and that's just a terrible mistake. When you have 2 personal fouls, you have to understand your value to the team. You can't pick up a silly one, and that was just a silly one.
Free throw good for Kofer.
Seminoles have gradually taken this game by the wind.
Yep. About 90 seconds to go. Left-hand runner, good. Dallas Moore. You like Moore, don't you, Dan? Yeah, he's got a little throwback game to him.
Really, really impressed by his game. I know, that's a heat check right there. Kofer's made a couple of baskets, and so he thought, okay, I'm going to try this one.
Moore the other way. Lost it on the dribble. Bookered off the turnover. Florida State 3-on-2. Brandon too strong.
What hustle by Booker. That is a tremendous job to pull down that rebound.
And Turpin fouled by Banks.
You know, Brandon was going just a little too fast. And the North Florida guys just, they forgot that Booker was there. Booker did such a great job. Moore goes into traffic, turns it over. Booker pitches ahead, and he just keeps running. He just keeps following the play. Nobody pays any attention to it. Great pass. Florida State a 12-4 run after the Ospreys have cut it to 1.
First week of the year at the line for Kyle Turpin.
Yeah, but that's only his 5th free throw attempt, Wes. And I think a guy that size who plays almost exclusively inside, he needs to get to the line more than 4 times in the team's first 10 games. 9 games, excuse me. 5 times now in 10 games.
So here is Kyle. Second of the 2. Both no good, and Davenport the rebound. Under a minute to go. 9-point lead for Florida State. That's Mackey. Here's Moore over 2 screens. And no good. North Florida bench on the foul, didn't get it. Berwick, baseline. Brandon scores. Nice ball movement by Florida State transition.
There's Brandon in transition. He can really finish, can he?
Yep. Nice half for Monte Brandon. He's got 15. Little left-hand teardrop by Moore, no good. 20 seconds left.
Moore maybe trying to do a little bit too much right at the moment.
book Berwick a 3. It's good for Robbie Berwick. His 9th 3 of the year.
What a great closing stretch by Florida State.
14-point lead, largest of this first half. Mackey and the horn sounds, and the teams will head to the locker room. Well, you're right, Dan. It was 26-25 with 5.5 minutes to go, and the Seminoles stepped on the gas, didn't they?
Boy, they sure did.
They were 5 of their last 8, and the lead is 14.
SEC basketball is sponsored by Hardee's Mile High Bacon Thick Burger.
And second half action getting ready to go here at the Tucker Center in Tallahassee. 43-29, Florida State. A big, strong finish to the end of this first half. And Kyle Turpin, a big part of that interior play for Florida State in the opening 20
He made
minutes.
those 4 little hook shots in the lane in the middle of the defense. And North Florida, you know, that we said they had to make threes. They've come in here, they were only 2 for 12.
Yeah.
They're not going to win at Florida State like that. We said they had to stay out of foul trouble. Well, Banks has 3 fouls. Nesbitt has 3 fouls. Moore picks up a foul early. Florida State went to the free throw line to shoot 17 free throws in the first half. So the Seminoles have been attacking. They've been causing some foul problems for the Ospreys, and they've been converting.
Yep. North Florida averaging 8.5 makes from behind the arc a game coming in, but it's been a problem here so far. Here they are in transition.
Now that time Davenport, unlike the first half, he let it go. He got it to his point guard. He got it back to him for the dunk. That's how you run the fast break.
Emphatic basket to start half 2. And Ojo before the basket.
And if that foul is on Banks, that is number 4 on Banks. Nice job with Nesbitt, pitches the rebound out, and immediately Davenport gives it up. And that's what they always tell big guys, give it up and you'll get it back.
Did you give it up as a big guy and get it back?
It's hard to give it up and get it back when you're sitting on the end of the bench. So the answer to that question is no.
Inside, Kofor tried to flush it back over Banks. It rattled out. They've been playing at the iron most of the night, Dan. They are here in the start of the half.
They've made precisely 3 jump shots that I can remember.
And Banks, his first field goal.
And interestingly enough, Wes, North Florida comes out, scores the first 2 baskets of the half. This is a team, I'm telling you, they're not going away.
10-point game.
They start in the zone in the second half.
Ratan Mays. And last touched by the Seminoles.
You can see the skills that Ratan Mays possesses, but you can also see that he's got to harness those skills a little bit. That was a bad force right there.
Another freshman guard from Canada. Last year, Tyler Ennis from Syracuse. This year, Xavier Ratan Mays. And a foul called on Ratan Mays.
And again, I'm not trying to get on the young man's case. He's obviously a very good player. But that time, you don't commit that foul. You know your teammates are back there, and these guys have been shot-blocking fools tonight. And so you don't commit that foul. You rely on Michael Ojo to swat that one away, which he did.
Free throw by Moore is good.
See, Ratan Mays does a nice job preventing Moore from getting all the way to the basket. He's making this a tough shot. Stay on your feet and let your center come over and swat it away. You know, Ojo's the shot blocker, the center, not the point guard. All the point guard's going to do is pick up a foul.
16 for Dallas Moore. Cut it right back down to 8. Have the Ospreys as Phil Kofor stuffs home his 3rd field goal.
Well, how about Kofor? He's got 8 points. And again, the 3 simply not going in, and Beach picks up a foul. And I think that's number 3 on Beach.
Second on the Ospreys here in the second half.
See, but with Banks out of the game now, Beach, who normally plays on the perimeter, he's got to play the power forward spot, and he's just overmatched in there.
Yeah, with DeMarcus Daniels sidelined tonight, Matthew Driscoll's team a little handcuffed in terms of their post players. Ratan Mays.
Nice pass.
Brandon a three. And it drops in. First three of the year for Monte Brandon. 18 tonight for the junior from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Oh, nice move. He didn't finish, but boy, he looked the defense away and got himself a shot. Tough shot.
Here's Booker. Right in front of the foul line. Jump shot good for Devin Booker.
Nice response by Florida State.
2.5 minutes into the second half. These two teams just continue to battle. Mackey tried to slip it back to Beach. It got knocked away, and then
I think he was actually thinking that Davenport was going to cut to the basket, and that was the right play, but Davenport stood there, and as a result, there's a turnover. That was not a bad idea. But Davenport didn't execute.
15-point game. Xavier Rattan-Mays runs the offense for Leonard Hamilton's team. Florida State's won 3 of their last 5, but they're reeling a little bit after an ACC loss last Saturday night up at South Bend against Notre Dame. Rattan-Mays, a pull-up 3 at the top, fouled by Moore, and he'll get 3 shots here. Dallas Moore's first, Dan. Sophomore's third on North Florida.
Talked about Rattan-Mays. He's got that scorer's mentality, and here he has an open jump shot. Moore got tied up with that screen and couldn't get back in time. And again, I don't know why point guards try to block shots.
First one, no good.
Big guys try to shoot threes. Point guards try to block shots. Shouldn't do either one.
Second one.
Nice, going for the hat trick.
Yeah. Well, I've talked oftentimes about shooting for him. Let's see what Rattan-Mays does here at the line. You see Kofor go out. It's one dribble and got the back in. Not a lot of wasting around at the line by Rattan-Mays.
No reason to.
I mean, those guys like Adrian Dantley back in the day, 5 dribbles, massage the ball and shoot. That's not your style.
Adrian Dantley did it just fine. And when I actually did get to the free throw line, I took a long time.
Did you?
I'm nobody to criticize.
Here's Beach a 3. Bo Beach, 23rd triple of the year. His first field goal tonight, though, Dan.
And if he can get hot, he can be a streaky guy. He can help shoot North Florida back into this game. But they need more of that and lots more of that.
Watkins has come on the floor. Rattan-Mays on the bench now for Florida State. Jarquez Smith, a sophomore who they're counting on for production, has come back out for Coach Hamilton on the deck as well. Ojo started this game tonight. And here's Brandon, who's been the star for the Noles. And Ojo, another dunk. Nice look by Monte Brandon, Dan.
Great look by Brandon. His ability to drive the ball to the basket and score early in the game attracts the defense's attention. When you get the ball to Ojo, and all he's got to do is take one step and dunk it, or he's hard to stop.
Foul in the midcourt area.
Ojo's going to pick that one up.
Second on the big fella.
But Brandon drives the ball to the basket. Beach comes up to try to stop him and leaves Ojo. And, you know, it's hard to leave a 7-foot, 300-pound guy open close to the basket. But again, Beach is a perimeter player. Ojo is 5 inches taller and 90 pounds heavier. Yeah, he has a bit of an advantage.
Reaching on Kyle Turpin.
See, Turpin, who's had a pretty good offensive game, his problem has been when he's tried to go outside and guard the quicker guys out on the perimeter. Davenport in particular is a tough defensive assignment for Kyle Turpin.
Dallas Moore trying to get this inbounds. There's Chris Ball mover by North Florida. Davenport wheels around Turpin, had it blocked. Saved. Beach. Foul on Jarquez Smith. Second on Smith. 4 on Florida State. 15-point lead for the home team when we come back. In the second half tonight in Tallahassee, and time for our Synovus Greatness Made Here spotlight. And it's on a Mays. Xavier Rattan Mays' his dad, Theron Mays, played here from 1986 to 1990. 21st in career points, over 1,200 of those. Nice career in the NBA in Philly and with the Clippers. Averaged 16.5 points in his career with the Seminoles. And there he is working against Big Felton Spencer back in the days of the fabled Metro.
That was some conference, the old Metro. Louisville and Cincinnati and Virginia Tech.
Florida State, not long after Theron finished his career, came into the ACC, Dan. And as you mentioned in the first half, outside of the Battle of the Blues between Duke and Carolina, it's hard to find a program been as successful the last 4 or 5 years as Leonard Hamilton's team has. Baseline, Davenport, another finish.
You know, we've been talking a lot about Dallas Moore, but Davenport is, he can really play on the inside. And there Beach picks up his 4th personal foul. That's just not very smart.
Little heady play by Watkins to slow his dribble down, and Beach follows. But boy, Davenport's been impressive.
Well, again, Turpin goes to help out against the screen. Davenport takes advantage. Nobody comes to help.
Chris Davenport.
And now North Florida gets very small, but here Banks is coming back in the game with 4 fouls.
And we saw Matthew Driscoll's team work a little bit on some press in their workout here this afternoon. But now, do they almost have to try and turn it up a little bit, as small as they are? Because if this thing gets into the half court, that's trouble, isn't it?
It's a lot of trouble, but again, they've got foul problems. You have Nesbitt's on the bench with 3 fouls, and if you're going to press, I think you need Nesbitt in the game.
Yep. Wow. Now Beach with 4. Here is Booker. Jarquez Smith a 3. And it rolls in. A bounce and in. They've hit now 5 straight field goals from the floor, have the Seminoles.
Well, so Jarquez Smith becomes the 2nd consecutive guy to make his first 3-point basket of the season.
Yep. Monte Brandon earlier in the half. And the lead has gotten to 16. Largest of the ball game now for Florida State.
The Seminoles have made some shots, particularly here in the second half.
Here's Romello Banks.
I think he walked. Jarquez Smith.
Yep.
That's why he walked. He got bumped.
3rd on Smith, 5 on Florida State. The sophomore from Haddock, Georgia. Jarquez Smith, 16 points last week against Central Florida, 8 the other night in the ACC effort at Notre Dame. Mackey alone in the corner for 3. Look at the rebound. Florida State looking to run. There's Brandon again. And the foul.
I mean, you got to find him in transition and find him early, because once he gets close to the basket, you're not stopping him.
20 now for Monte Brandon. And to be honest with you, 3 off his career high from earlier this month.
Booker does a great job pushing the ball up the court, and Brandon just never stops.
Free throw no good. 18 points. Pretty critical stretch here for North Florida. Kevin Wilson.
They're having a hard time finding guys to score.
15 to shoot. Banks the catch. Nice pass, Wilson. Can't finish. Goes run again. Nice pass. Booker to Turpin for the dunk. Double figures for Turpin now on his 5th field goal.
Tell your big guys to run to the basket, and that's why.
Poked away by Turpin. It'll stay with the Ospreys.
This is a good-looking effort by Florida State. They're dominating the game defensively, and then they're turning that into offense. There's Turpin. He's 94 feet away and just keeps running down the court. You know, that's not sprinter speed, but it's just very steady. Right down the middle of the court. Nobody picks him up.
Banks' 2nd field goal of the half. He's got 6 in the ball game. We're going to whistle and foul against.
And Banks is done.
Yeah, that's 5 on Banks. Banks will foul out.
This is what we talked about before the game. At Florida State, particularly without DeMarcus Daniels, their six-man and their main substitute on the inside, going to have a really hard time keeping up with this Florida State size without getting into foul trouble, and they've gotten into foul trouble. And so now the guy they're going to have to put in the game is Nesbitt, and he's got 3 fouls.
Banks has fouled out for a 3rd time this year, by the way.
Well, Banks is pretty good inside. He's got some mobility. He can run. He had a tough time catching the ball today. But against these really big, really athletic players that exist at places like Florida State and Purdue, he has a hard time keeping up.
I thought the conversation we had with Coach Driscoll, and to a degree with Stan Jones, Leonard Hamilton's top assistant today, about the bigs in this respective game and how they fit against one another. North Florida was they've got big guys. They're not a small team by any stretch when they're whole. Florida State have big guys that run at you, Dan. Most of the bigs that North Florida's going to see when they get in the A-Sun, they're not as athletic as Florida State's bigs are. And that's a point of contention here tonight.
Nor are they as big. You know, Florida State's the one team in the country that has 3 7-foot guys.
Yep. Seven-footers have all played well here tonight.
Yes, they have.
Bojanowski, who's at the table, we have not seen as much as Ojo and Turpin, but Ojo and Turpin have accounted themselves just fine.
And I think that's more has to do more with the matchup than anything else. They felt like Stan Jones was telling us that Florida State felt like Ojo and Turpin would be a better matchup against Banks. But now Banks is fouled out of the game. They need somebody a little bit more mobile. They're going to go to Bojanowski.
Yep. Tan Mays. Nice scoop and score. That's his first field goal tonight, Dan. And a timeout taken by Matthew Driscoll.
I think what Matt Driscoll's worried about now is he sees this guy's shoulders slumping a little bit there. They're to the point here where they're about to get blown out, and he just wants to get things organized.
Florida State, with 13 minutes to play, has been sparked by 8 of 11 shooting from the floor here in the second half, including hitting their last 8 in a row, Dan.
Yeah, they've missed their first 3 and they've hit their last 8. And one of the reasons they're shooting the ball so well is the type of shots they've been getting. Remember, we said they had to get percentage plays. Well, Monte Brandon running in transition has been a pretty high percentage. And then Kyle Turpin does the same thing right here. Just runs down the middle of the court after recovering the ball, and he scores. How do you shoot 70%? You get great shots. And Florida State has been getting great shots. And I'll tell you what, when they shoot 52% in one half and 72% in the other half, with the way they play the game on the boards and defensively, they can beat about anybody.
Yep. Brandon. Bojanowski. Passed on a chance at the foul line, and here's Tan Mays.
And I think Bojanowski can shoot that shot, and I think he's got to take that shot just to be a threat.
Jarquez Smith, another 3.
See, and when the ball starts going in from 2, you get confident, and it's the second three-point basket he's made all season long.
Wilson batted away, Bojanowski. Here's the look ahead. Berwick, Brandon.
Nice pass.
And Smith lost it on the way up, fouled by Davenport. 5 on North Florida, second on the sophomore for Matthew Driscoll.
And not only is Florida State getting down the court quickly, once they get down the court, they are moving the ball very well. This is a great passing sequence to find the open man inside. All started by Monte Brandon, who had the opportunity to drive the ball to the basket, but didn't do it, went and found a better shot.
Scoreless first half for Jarquez Smith, and now the sophomore's got a half dozen. 7 after the free throw there here in half 2.
Well, he's got a half dozen, now 7, but the 2 baskets he scored were both 3-pointers, and that's good news, bad news for Leonard Hamilton. It's nice to have a guy who can step out and make a 3, but you don't want Jarquez Smith to decide that that's his shot.
The second one no good. It's his 3rd miss of the year at the line. 3 attempts.
And something else that Florida State has done very well in the second half is really contained Dallas Miller.
Bodiger. Off the baseline, here's Wilson. Bodiger blocked by Jarquez Smith. Tan Mays. Berwick. And Smith, no good. Bojanowski taps it on.
But again, that quick ball movement in transition, the defense can't get set. Nobody's available to block out Bojanowski.
70-47. Attacks the trees, draws the foul, and
Somebody's hurt.
that is Smith, I believe. It is. Jarquez Smith shaken up. And we get a timeout here in Tallahassee. Florida State's lead is 23. Back after this. 47 Florida State, and they tend to Jarquez Smith down at the end of the Florida State bench, Dan.
An unfortunate accident, really, for Smith. Here's Smith. This is Wilson going to come at him, and Wilson's going to fall down, and as a result, Smith, who goes up in the air to try to block the shot, Wilson falls down, comes down, and turns his ankle on the foot of Wilson. Wilson is down on the ground, and he turns that ankle, and you hope that it's not a serious problem. Lots of times you turn your ankle like that, and it's very painful, but you're able to go. They're not going to need him anymore tonight, but hopefully Leonard Hamilton, he's had enough injuries from him.
Foul was also tagged to Smith, and that puts Devin Wilson at the line. Scoreless tonight is the senior from Gainesville, 2 times the Gainesville Player of the Year. Transfer from Pensacola State Community College. Second one good.
Florida State turned the ball over 13 times in the first half, Wes, and they turned it over 0 times in the second half.
Thus, a 22-point lead.
Well, you shoot 71%, you don't turn the ball over.
A lot of good things can happen. Kofor's come back on the floor to replace Smith. Nice look. Tan Mays, Brandon. Fall away. Bodiger the rebound.
See, that's a bit of a force right there. I think that ball, you need to keep moving it. You get a better shot than that one.
In the corner, Bodiger. And Bojanowski the rebound, and Moore's down. And Ron Taberski stops play to allow Dallas Moore to get back to his feet.
And he tells Matt Driscoll, I'm fine, but Matt Driscoll sitting over there, he's making no move at all to take him out of the game.
No. You know, sometimes coaches, and Matt Driscoll's turned 50 on Sunday. Pittsburgh guy like Bonner went to Slippery Rock, and longtime assistant, various places. Baylor with Scott Drew, Valpo as well, and Clemson, of course, with Larry Scheid years ago. He told us today, Dallas Moore can play and can play at any level.
And he's taken more out of the game now. Matthew Driscoll is as energetic and upbeat as anybody you want to meet. I think he is a perfect guy to build a program at a place like North Florida.
Yep.
And he's got a team that's basically, they're pretty young. They've only got one senior on the team who's a big contributor, and that's Nesbitt, and he's a big contributor. But they've got a lot of guys who are going to be coming back. And
boy, how about the sophomores at Davenport and Moore and Banks? Although Banks is DQ'd tonight with fouls. Play on the ball controlled by Beach, and a foul against the Seminoles. It's on Phil Kofor. It'll be his first.
Davenport's a sophomore. Banks is a sophomore. Beach is a junior. Nesbitt, we said, is the senior. Moore is obviously the sophomore. Daniels, who we haven't seen tonight, is a junior. Mackey is a junior. Bodiger is a junior, or excuse me, a sophomore.
35, get you back. 35.
We're going to look at Bo Beach at the line here. The word we got on Jarquez Smith is, Dan, you alluded to, they won't need him, and it's good because he's done.
Yeah, done for the night.
Yep.
Well, and it's interesting. Smith had a pretty good game. He came off the bench. He's been a starter, but he came off the bench. He had 7 points. He had 4 rebounds. He had a blocked shot. When you combine that, he and Kofor together, Kofor has 8 points and 6 rebounds. So out of your 4-man, you've gotten 15 points and 10 rebounds and a couple of blocked shots. That's not a bad night out of that spot for the Seminoles.
20-point lead for Florida State, looking for win number 5 on this year. Only just 9 ball games have the Seminoles. It's always interesting to see the number of games that some schools have played at this particular time of the year. They don't vary much, but the 9 is a low number, Dan.
9 is a low number.
When you look at some others, but some coaches have that scheduling philosophy. If I can get my guys to a certain point, then they'll be ready for the league. And some feel practice is as important as games, and they want to stagger it. That academic schedule also comes into play. Here's a turnover for Tan Mays. The scoop and score. Wow. That's pretty nifty right there.
That's putting it mildly. That's a really, really nice play.
So Xavier Rattan-May's second field goal. 9 in the ball game for the freshman from Canada. And last touch by Brandon. It will stay with the Ospreys.
Florida State's got a lot of guys who can play in transition, and Xavier Rattan-Mays is one of them. This is a nifty little hop to the basket. It's a very tough shot.
Lot to consider. See that here. Wilson. Bodiger, and here's Davenport. Nice pass. Nesbitt back to Davenport. The dunk rubbed out on him.
I think he expected a little more pressure than he got.
And the run out, Brandon lays it in. 22 for Brandon, one off his career high. From last week against Central Florida.
Boy, he can really go, can't he?
Yeah. Very impressed with how he's assumed more of a scoring role here for Leonard Hamilton's team in the wake of the eligibility ruling against Aaron Thomas.
Well, Wes, and another thing that has sort of a behind-the-scenes kind of look at this game, the referees are having a bit of a problem. Louis Andrikakis just lost his shoe on that play.
Yeah.
That's Ron Tyberski. He's the only one who hasn't had a problem tonight. Louis Andrikakis just lost his shoe, so he has to go get it. Les Jones had injured his ankle in the first half, and he is limping up and down the court here. Les is a pretty tough guy.
Yep.
But he's limping up and down the court. He's having a hard time. So we got one ref with a bad ankle, one with a bad shoe. Literally, he threw the shoe. There he is, Louis Andrikakis. Yeah. But he's resawed now and ready to go.
Ready for third and short? Is that what you're telling me? Free throw by Bodiger, good. These are his first free throw attempts of the year.
You know it's an intense game when the referee loses his shoe.
Oh, yeah. No question. Florida State's lead 22 after the free throws by Bodiger. Brandon. Turpin the dunk. Dan, the ball movement tonight, particularly by Florida State here in the second half, quite impressive.
The ball movement has been very impressive, and they're playing with a lot of confidence, so the players are moving as well. Nobody's being a spectator tonight. And Kyle Turpin, you know, this is the kind of performance they've been looking for from him. You know, my heavens, if he can provide that kind of play on a regular basis.
Beach a three.
The three just has not been there tonight, and I think Florida State, their length come flying at those three-point shooters has had an effect.
Yep. Booker on the drive. And
now that hit the rim,
controlled.
but I don't think Booker was trying to hit the rim. I think he's trying to throw it up there to Turpin.
24-point difference. Little scoop and score by Bo Beach. So Beach draws the foul, and we get a timeout in Tallahassee with the Noles in front.
Basketball is sponsored by the official corporate champions of the ACC, Toyota, Haviland, and Food Lion.
And with Dan Bonner, Wes Durham, our great crew. Maceo Grant, our director. Joe Cook, our producer here tonight in Tallahassee. And Florida State, Kyle Turpin working toward a career high tonight. He's got 14 for Leonard Hamilton's team. Beats the free throw out of the timeout for North Florida. 21-point lead for the Noles.
You talked about their ball movement. They've got 27 field goals and 20 assists.
And now a off-the-ball situation. Watkins and Dallas Moore.
And how about Monte Brandon stepping right in there and pushing Watkins away?
Now Les Jones will have a word. The foul was called on Dallas Moore, his third.
See, Les Jones gets everybody around the campfire. They sing a couple of bars of Kumbaya. And
Is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened. Then we're ready to go.
Nothing about don't do it again or...
No, not Les.
No, Kumbaya.
Yep, there you go.
Yep. Watkins to shoot a couple of free throws. By the way, the ACC will win last night. North Carolina beat UNC Greensboro in the Greensboro Coliseum, where the ACC season will come to an end again with the ACC tournament. And the ACC 105-33 against non conference competition coming into tonight.
Well, interesting. Coming into tonight, Florida State was the only Atlantic Coast Conference team to have a losing record.
Moore, a triple, standing three with the left hand out front. He's now got 19 in the ball game. He has had 20 in each of their last 2 games and 4 of their last 6, and he's closing in on that figure again here tonight. All right, time for tonight's Toyota Trivia, Dan, and here we go.
Okay.
There are 13 Division I schools in the state of Florida playing college basketball. Which state has the most in the country?
Well, I have no idea, but my guess would be the biggest state in the country.
California. Or Texas.
Well, I think population-wise,
California. You want to go with California?
I would go with California.
Want to go with California? All right, we're going to let you.
It's not Maine or Vermont. I know that.
No, it's not. And I will say I do know the answer here.
You do? Okay.
And it's going to be surprising to you in a few minutes. But I'm going to let you think about it. Let the good folks at home think about it. Grandy's our statistician tonight. Do you know? No, he has not.
There has to be a lot of people, so it could be New York.
Could be.
So it's got a place. It's got to be a place where they have a lot of people.
California?
California.
California.
I'm going with California. California's final
answer. Very good.
I don't have any lifelines, I think.
No. Okay. Phone a friend.
Okay.
None of that.
None of that.
Final 7:05.
See, they tell you the answer. They don't tell me the answer.
Well. Tip of the cap to Joe Cook, our producer, did a fine job on this question. This is outstanding because we said at the top, Florida State trying to win the state championship. They've already beaten UCF. They got South Florida coming up at the Orange Bowl, and there is Turpin, who ties his career high with his 7th field goal there.
So UCF is Central Florida.
That's correct.
This is North Florida.
It is.
Then they're going to play South Florida.
That's right.
Okay. West Florida is a Division II, so they wouldn't play them.
No, sir.
Okay.
They play, obviously, the Hurricanes.
Yes.
And they have a ball game with the Gators.
They play the Hatters of Stetson.
Yep. And not this year, but they'll play Tony Jasic in Jacksonville occasionally as well.
There you go. There you go.
Turpin, by the way, a new career high. He's hit his 3rd free throw of the night. 17 in a career night for Kyle Turpin. And what a scoop there from Dallas Moore.
Now, interestingly, that's only Moore's 2nd field goal of the second half. He had those 14 points in the first half, made 2 free throws, and then he made the 3, and now he's made this one. But this, again, gives you an idea of what he can do. That is a very difficult shot. He is a shot maker, that's for sure.
Free throw no good.
But part of the problem for North Florida is, for the most part in this second half, Florida State has made it close him off, and as a result, the offense for North Florida has stagnated a little bit. Plus, Beach hasn't been able to knock down threes, nor Murphy, nor Bodiger. And if they're not making threes, they're going to struggle offensively.
6 minutes and change left.
And Nesbitt picked up 2 fouls very early, and he has played very limited minutes. And he's probably their most athletic guy.
And Davenport draws the foul from Turpin.
As well as Turpin has played tonight, he has had real issues with Davenport.
3rd on Turpin. All right, here's our trivia answer tonight from our friends at Toyota.
All right.
13 Division I schools here in the Sunshine State. Which state has the most? Bonner is settled on California. The answer is California.
It's California. There you go.
New York is 2nd with 22.
Impressive one there is North Carolina with 18.
Some of those have gone Division I within the last decade to get the Tar Heel State into that list. You got your High Points, Elon. They've all gone Division I within the last decade, 12 years.
North Carolina Central?
That's right. North Carolina Central will be on that list. Here is Rattan Mays, Kofor the dunk.
Really like the job Kofor has done tonight. He's now got 10 points, 8 rebounds. And I think that he has done exactly what the Florida State coaching staff wanted him to do. He's just been very active, very aggressive, taking opportunities that are offered and converting.
8 of the 21 assists for Florida State tonight belong to Xavier Rattan Mays. Beach, a little soft jumper off the baseline, good for Bo Beach. He's got 10 here in the second half, 11 in the ball game. That's the junior from Ponte Vedra Beach.
Well, he shot a little better.
17-point game with 5 minutes to play. Turpin a long two. Kyle Turpin feeling it tonight, Dan. 19 now. All these are career best numbers for Turpin. A little runner by Moore pushes him over 20 in the ball game. And
well, the one thing that's obvious about North Florida is Moore can do just about anything they need him to do out on the court, but he's going to need some help. And again, DeMarcus Daniels not able to play tonight. He's a guy who can provide some of that help. But they need guys who they need guys to make threes. Beach has to make some threes. Mackey has to make some threes.
Ratan Mays, a backdoor lob for Cofer dunk.
Florida State's size has just been dominant, or one of the dominant factors in this game.
Moore can't finish, and almost saved, and last touched by the Seminoles. Les Jones says it will stay with the Ospreys. And here is Devin Wilson back into the ball game for UNF.
And that may be all we're going to see at Dallas Moore tonight. The game is clearly out of hand, and you don't want to get that young man hurt, and he's had a fabulous game.
Yep.
And Turpin out of the ball game, too. He's played extremely well.
Moore's got 23. Dan, that's 3 straight games of 20 or more. 5 of the last 7 for Dallas Moore. Davenport. He'll work on Bojanowski. Little right-hand jump hook. Good, and the foul. Chris Davenport, 8 here in the half. 17 in the ball game. He'll shoot a free throw when we come back to Tallahassee.
ACC basketball is sponsored by Hardee's and your local Ford dealer.
Career high numbers, Dan.
We talked before the game about where Florida State was going to get offensive production, and they've gotten it from Turpin. He's made 8 of 9 shots. You can see those hook shots in the lane. He's run very well in transition, cut to the basket, scored in the half court, away from the goal, going to the basket, and he's made a jumper. So it has been Turpin time. That was her sign, not mine. I'm not that clever.
As we come back to live action, Chris Davenport, the free throw.
Now, that is somebody who's a big Kyle Turpin fan, because his performance so far this year has not been to the point where anybody would think, well, I got to have a sign that says it's Turpin time.
Yeah.
So that's a lady who knows she's prepared.
Yep. And I'll be honest with you, Stan Jones, the chief assistant for Leonard Hamilton, was talking today about Kyle Turpin being one of those guys that could help offset the loss of Aaron Thomas. Done it tonight in a very big way. Booker.
One of the things you have to understand, Wes, when you lose a key guy, no one person has to do everything, but everyone has to do a little bit more. And I think that's what we've seen tonight.
Runner in the lane by Mackey for his second field goal.
And I think if North Florida is going to have the success that they want to have, then Mackey's got to produce a little bit more on the offensive end, particularly with making threes. That was a 2, and interestingly enough, he's now 3 for 3, shooting 2s this year.
Florida State had 13 turnovers at halftime. They've got 15 in the ball game now. Just 2 here in the second half, and a new season high 23 assists, including 9 for Ratan Mays, which is a new season high for the freshman. Brandon fouled on the drive off the baseline.
Well, I've really been impressed with the way Ratan Mays has moved the basketball for the most part. There have been a couple times where we said, well, he's forced it a little bit in terms of trying to get his shot. But as the second half has gone on, he has really settled down. He's been very patient. He's distributing the ball. He's not trying to force his own opportunities. And I think that's going to be very important, that they have a guy that can get the ball to the right player at the right time. And that's what Ratan Mays has done in this second half.
Don't forget, coming up on this weekend, more ACC basketball on your regional sports network. Jamie Dixon in Pittsburgh. Welcome the Grizzlies of Oakland, who were beaten last night by number 3 Arizona out in the desert. Saturday at 4 o'clock on your regional sports network. Career high 24 tonight for Brandon.
He got him going. I think Brandon set the tone both offensively and defensively. Just that aggressiveness.
swinging it to Mackey. Beach tried to keep it alive and did. Step out. And it passes in for Bo Beach. Beach now. A dozen here in the second half, 13 in the ball game. But Florida State's lead is 14 with just better than 2 minutes left.
This is a very good North Florida team, and this is a really good win for Florida State. And a Florida State team, again, that's trying to figure out how they're going to play. And there's Rattan Mays. Everybody stepped away because he's been passing, and that time he was able to get to the goal.
Under 2 to go. 9:73. Beach launching. Florida's going to stay in town and play at Florida A&M on Friday. Here is Cofer with a right-hand punch. Meanwhile, Florida State will head south to meet the Bulls as part of the Orange Bowl outside of Miami.
Cofer just keeps running, doesn't he?
Yep. Nice drive and move by Wilson. His first field goal.
Leonard Hamilton's trying to get some subs in the game.
These will be the most points that Florida State has scored since exhibition wins. This would be 96 against Central Florida. They got 91 here tonight. They had 99 and 95 in their 2 exhibition games. And you see what lies ahead. Rick Ray's got a nice team in the SEC at Mississippi State. And then you see the league opener for Florida State at Virginia Tech, Dan.
I think Leonard Hamilton's guys, they've got a chance here. Again, we've been talking all night long about putting the pieces together. And now they've had a very strong performance. It'll be interesting to see how they can build on it.
And we get a look at the first time tonight. Michael Saxton has come in the game, as has Brandon Allen for Florida State. Berwick, Watkins, and Rattan Mays on the floor. Chase Driscoll, the son of the head coaches out there in Florida. Here's Bodiger. Final minute of play here in Tallahassee tonight. Get a foul on Berwick. Former 2-sport star from California's first.
And Matt Driscoll very disappointed tonight, but you can see he's got some tough games coming up at Iowa, at Alabama, but that's what a coach at a mid-major has to do. You've got to play some of those money games where you risk a performance like this against a team that can be dominating. So obviously he's disappointed, but again, he's got a very strong team. They should be very competitive in an excellent Atlantic Sun. And when you come right down to it, that is a one-bid league in terms of the NCAA tournament. So what he's trying to do through the course of these games is just build up his team, put them in situations where they will know how to react. The biggest part of their season is 3 days in March at their tournament.
Here's Wilson. Final 35 seconds. And the 3 out of the corner, no good. And here's Rattan Mays at the other end. Tried to get it to Berwick. Back inside, Saxton scores. Second field goal of the year for Michael Saxton. Walk-on from over Tallahassee Community College, native of Orlando.
Really impressive win against a good team.
Yep. Keep an eye on the Ospreys out of the...
they're going to be competitive in the A-Sun, no question about it.
And there is the North Florida athletic director and an old friend of ours, Dan.
Well, a long-time friend. When you get to be our age, you don't use that 3-letter word.
Lee Moon is the athletic director at North Florida. And
I met him when he was a graduate assistant football coach in the early 70s at the University of Virginia. I've known him since then.
Yep, he's athletic director at Marshall and at Wyoming, and worked at UAB, and now running the show at North Florida. And he's got a lot going for him in a competitive environment in this state for sure. Tough night for the Ospreys, though. Florida State played awfully well, Dan. They were very impressive here tonight.
Extremely impressive. Nobody was beating them tonight.
Well, the Noles closed out the first half on a 17-4 run, led by 20 in the last 12 minutes of the second half. Brandon a career-high 24. Turpin a career-high 19. Florida State goes to 5-5. The final Sacramento 93-77. For Dan Bonner, Joe Cook, our producer, Maceo Grant, our director, Wes Durham. Thanks for watching ACC Basketball.